Hey guys, it's Quinn, and today we're taking a look at the sequel to the brilliant 2000s animated classic, The Incredibles. If you haven't checked out my review for that film, be sure to check it out with the link provided here or on my channel, Quincy. Right, so let's jump right into it with The Incredibles 2. I should start by saying that I enjoy this film, and without giving away any spoilers for the rest of the review, this film definitely upholds the brand of this film series, but I just think pales in comparison to the original. For those who have watched my reviews in the past, they know that the endings of films, I think, are paramount, and I just find the ending of this film to be very unsatisfactory. In the final real action sequence of the film, there never seems to be any real logic or clarity in what is occurring. For example, the main villain just keeps screaming out, "Go to phase 2, go to phase 3, etc., but it is not clear at all what those phases actually are or mean. By the same vein, there seems to be no clarity as to what real endgame was if the phases were to work, because we don't know what the fucking phases were in the first place. This highlights my main gripe with this film. Everything in this film seems to occur because people make silly accidents which just propel the plot forward. Without the accidents, the plot couldn't have developed how it did. By the same token, the villain couldn't have implemented any of their plan without giant discoveries or mistakes or just pure happenstance by the other characters. If things had gone even slightly differently at various points in the film, the plot would have just collapsed on itself. I know this sounds vague, but if you've seen the film, this should make sense as to what I'm referring to. I'll give an example from the first scene in the film, which isn't really a spoiler because it's what kicks off the plot, but just be forewarned, it's the first scene, it really shouldn't affect it. The first scene kicks off right where the last Incredibles film ended off, with the Incredibles fighting a villain in the Metropolis. This causes a lot of damage, which makes the public angry and forces them into hiding before a businessman decides to assist them. But what if they hadn't have caused a lot of damage? Would the public have cared, and would they have needed the businessman's help? Probably not. So there you go, film over. Everything in this film happens by chance instead of logic or destiny. It didn't really feel like there was a natural flow to it, but rather a bunch of writers just putting together a bunch of very specific circumstances to make it work. You know how in physics a lot of the equations are derided because of assumptions that just aren't realistic, but it makes the entire equation a lot simpler and smoother? Well, that is this plot, making a bunch of very convenient plot points to make the entire plot work. But damn, what a plot though. I really love how they bring all the Incredibles into the film and make each of them pivotal parts. In the first film, it felt a lot like a Bond film in that Mr. Incredibles was the top honcho and the family was sort of his sidekicks. Although Elastigirl does take center stage here, each of the characters are actually critical in the film, which was really cool. It felt like a Marvel movie in that even though someone like Iron Man, Elastigirl, is still the star, it wouldn't work without the other characters. Special shout out to Jack for being probably my favorite character in this film. I think another big factor in this film is that it is really fucking funny, even more so than the first film. This is probably the best upgrade from the first film, is the humor. Similarly, the music holds up a great 50s feel that made the first film so special. So overall, I really like The Incredibles 2, but obviously it is not as good as the first film. The main characters are great. The new superheroes are tolerable, if slightly underwhelming, and I love how different players get to, wet their beak more. Although the plot is a little bit unbelievable and shallow, it is fun for what it is. So, in summary, it's a really fun film that is good, even for Pixar standards, but don't come in expecting a plot like The Godfather or even, the first Incredibles for that matter. So what do you guys think of Incredibles 2? How do you think it compares to the original Incredibles? Whatever it may be, leave in the comment section below. And as always, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.